this event would not be possible without the People's Assembly Against Austerity, and really pleased to have the Secretary of the People's Assembly Against Austerity, Sam Fairbain, to be able
to... George Osborne likes to tell us at the moment that things are getting better, that the economy has turned a corner and that it's growing faster than anyone could have imagined. Well, he's right in a sense. Things are getting better, but for some people only. It's getting better for the likes of George Osborne and his millionaire friends. Energy prices are up, house prices are up, top salaries are up, profits are up, share prices are up. So this really is an upturn for the rich. I think this really is a slap in the face to the millions and millions of people who are struggling to put food on the table every single day, who are struggling to pay the bills every month. And in reality, the situation is getting a lot worse for the vast majority of people in this country. Wages have fallen by 6% in real terms since 2010. The government likes to say that unemployment is falling, yet 1 in 4 young people are still unemployed. And those that are employed, those that are lucky enough to be employed, face precarious, part-time and low-paid jobs. But up to 5 million people now are employed on 0-hour contracts. This has meant that hundreds and thousands of people are now regularly relying on food banks. Payday loan sharks are seeing record profits as falling living standards are forcing people into the hands of these companies. Wonga reported a 70% increase on annual profits this year. 750,000 people are affected by the bedroom tax, which is forcing thousands of people out of their homes. Rent prices are up by 8% since last year, and the government is intent on selling off some of the most treasured public services that we have in this country. Already the NHS, big parts of the NHS have been sold off to private companies like Virgin, and now the Royal Mail has been privatised. I don't need to mention this has been mentioned a lot today, but crippling higher education fees have obviously stopped thousands and thousands of people going to university, and now the government's talking about privatising student loans. But what this means is that Osborne's so-called upturn is fake. It's fake because it means that poverty and falling living standards are facing, millions of people are facing poverty and falling living standards. It's fake because they are sucking demand out of the economy. Investment in the real economy is rock bottom, and price rises. These price rises represent a bubble, another bubble that is waiting to burst. Now, all of this paints a bleak picture, but I think resistance is growing in quite a serious way, and I think there's a lot of hope in terms of what our side is doing to counter this. Just a couple of weeks ago, Manchester saw the biggest demonstration in many, many years outside the Tory party conference. The recent teachers' strike I thought, showed a fantastic willingness to resist. The big strike day demonstrations weren't just about pay and pensions. On those demonstrations, there was a political determination there to get rid of Gove and to get rid of this government. Public opinion is overwhelmingly against privatisation and to the left of the mainstream austerity consensus. Even Ed Miliband is being pulled to the left by public opinion with his announcements that he will scrap the bedroom tax, that he'll freeze energy prices, and when John Major even comes out saying against a hike in energy prices, you know that Cameron is quite seriously fighting a losing battle here. The FBU strikes yesterday, I thought, were absolutely fantastic, despite constant attacks by the media, and they're set to strike again on Monday. I thought the students showed a fantastic solidarity to the higher education workers' strike last week, and we should send our congratulations to SOAS, to Sheffield, to Sussex and to Oxford for the Oxford students who occupied in support of those workers on strike. And on the 5th of November, as people will have heard throughout the day, the People's Assembly has called a day of civil disobedience and direct action. We've called this the bonfire of austerity, and it looks set to be one of the biggest days of direct action for many, many years. And on that day, actions are going to take place up and down the country. Already in over 45 places across the country, there's actions taking place, and they range from occupations of banks, of job centres, of post offices, to roadblocks, and protests targeting privatisers and tax evaders. The People's Assembly is here to bring together all of the different strands of resistance, from the students, from the trade unions, from people in the Labour Party, the Green Party, all of these strands of resistance into one coordinated force. Students have got a big part to play in the movement, in the wider movement. We can thank the students for kicking off the anti-austerity movement in the first place with the big student revolts around 2010. Those demonstrations and those protests for the first time mobilised tens of thousands of people against austerity, and those demonstrations forced the issue of anti-austerity politics into the mainstream. Historically, students have given the energy and the drive and have been the lifeblood of some of the most important social movements in recent times. And now we need to go back to our campuses from today, and we need to think about building student assemblies on every single campus that we possibly can. We need to link these student assemblies up to the 80 plus local People's Assembly groups that have formed in the last few weeks. And we need to build the biggest movement that this country has ever seen against austerity. And the next step for this movement has got to be November the 5th. November the 5th will say loud and clear to Osborne, to Cameron and this rotten government that unless you abandon your austerity programme, our growing movement will bring big parts of this country to a standstill, will make this country ungovernable. So please, thanks everyone for coming today. Join us on the 5th of November, and I look forward to seeing you on the streets. Thanks. Woo!